Okay, I'm very happy to give this talk about artificial intelligence to the student at Waltham High School. So at first, I would like to briefly introduce about myself. So my name is Chuxu Zhang. I'm currently an assistant professor of computer science at Brandeis University. So my general research interest is about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data mining. And specifically, I focus on the research of graph learning and applying the technique of graph learning to with my mouse. Where is my mouse? We need to restart again.
Yeah, no worries. We can restart as many times as we need to.
I sure I cannot put my mouse. Hold on a second. Yeah, it's appear now.
Okay, so we got it.
No, yeah, we need to restart again. Sorry.
Yeah, no apologies necessary. This happens every time. You're not.
Yeah, I don't understand why the mouse doesn't appear. But let me see. Let me try it again. Yeah, no, there's mouse. Okay, let's restart. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, hello everyone. Today I'm very happy to give a brief talk about the artificial intelligence to the student at Waltham High School. So at first, I would like to briefly introduce about myself. So my name is Chuxu Zhang. I'm currently an assistant professor of computer science at the Brandeis University. So my general research interest is about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data mining. So specifically, I focus on the research of graph mining and graph learning and apply the technique of graph mining and graph learning to different real-world applications in different domains, such as healthcare, social media, recommended system, social good, and some interdisciplinary applications such as biology and chemistry. So you can know more about my research and my background through my web page, right? And after this talk, if you have any question, you can contact me directly by using my this email address, right? And about my background and education, I got my bachelor degree from China, right? From the University of Electronic Science and Technology in China. And after the bachelor study, undergraduate study, I come to USA for my graduate study. At first, I was a PhD student at Rutgers University. Then I got a master degree there. I moved to another university for my PhD study. I moved to University of Notre Dame for my PhD study. And I got my PhD degree at 2020. So during my PhD study, graduate study, I have some industry experience, research intern experience. So I intern at NEC Labs, American, Microsoft Research, and IBM Research. So all my graduate research is about data mining, machine learning, and artificial intelligence, right? So in this talk, I will briefly introduce about what is artificial intelligence and how we can apply artificial intelligence technique to solve real-world problem or to build real-world useful products and applications. So at first, right, and actually the product of the application of the artificial intelligence is everywhere in our daily life now, right? Well, for example, we use Siri, right, digital system, like a Siri in the iPhones, right? So actually this kind of digital system is built on the technique of artificial intelligence. And also like we use like Google machine translation, right? So like we given the sentence of one language, like English, we want to translate it to the sentence of another language, like Chinese, okay? So the Google machine translation is also built on the technique of artificial intelligence. And more recently, right, the ChatGPT is quite popular. It's about generative AI, or most commonly is used for the text generation, question answering, and also other applications, right? So actually, ChatGPT is based on the deep learning and artificial intelligence, right? So this is another kind of applications of artificial intelligence. And also, you know, long time ago, right? I'm not sure, maybe 10 years ago, there are lots of face recognition technique, right? So face recognition techniques also build on the artificial intelligence, right? And also in the social media and also other like news website and so on, and also e-commerce platform like Amazon, they are something like a recommended system. And also in the social network, they are something like a friend recommended system, and also like a news recommended system and so on, right? So this kind of recommended system, no matter in the e-commerce platform or the social network platforms or other platforms, right? They are actually also built on the technique of artificial intelligence, okay? And also a few years ago, the you know, a computer Go player, right? A computer Go program, right, developed by the Google DeepMind, based the Settles, right? So who is one of the most famous Go player in the world. So you can see that we can also use artificial intelligence to build some game players, right? And also, you know, currently self-driving car is quite popular, right? It's a very advanced technique in current AI research, right? Like, you know, self-driving car is also another kind of typical application of the artificial intelligence, okay? So, and also artificial intelligence, formally, it means any technique that's enabled to computer to mimic human behaviors, right? So artificial intelligence is actually a larger scope, right? It includes machine learning. So machine learning is one kind of technique that we want to build the equip the computer has the ability to learn without explicit being programmed, right? So machine learning is actually a subfield of artificial intelligence. And in recent year, maybe I'm saying 10 years ago, right, deep learning is emerged as one of the major technique in artificial intelligence, or one of the most advanced technique in artificial intelligence, right? So deep learning is currently the most popular technique. Most of the current product like ChatGPT, machine translation, self-driving car are actually built on the deep learning. So in the remaining time of this talk, I still have about 10 minutes. I will talk about deep learning, right? So what is the deep learning and the major idea of the deep learning, right? So the motivation of developing deep learning techniques actually built on the human brain functions, right? So here is pictures of the human brain and some neural message passings, right, in the human brains, right? So actually human brains are intelligence, right? So neurons like this one, this one, this one, and also this one, and this one in these figures, right? Neurons in the brains actually work for the intelligence for the humans, right? So we hope that we can develop some mathematical abstraction of functions, right? To mimic the behavior of actual neurons in the human brains, right? So we hope that we can build a large, massively parallel artificial neural network, try to approximate the human learning process, right? Try to mimic the human learning behaviors, right? So then that is the motivation, right? We hope that we can build artificial neural network to mimic the human behavior and to enable the intelligence of the machines, okay? So that is the motivation of the deep learning. Then how can we develop some mathematical functions to mimic such kind of behaviors, right? So this slide actually shows the basic component in the deep neural network or the artificial neural network. So you can see that this is get the inspiration from the biological network or the human brain neuron functions, right? Like this one, right? This is cells or this is neurons, right? And it can receive input signal, like for example, we have eyes, we have nose, we have like ears, right? It can help us to receive the output signals, right? input signal from the outer environment, like for an image. If we look at something, there are some visual signals, right? So then the neurons in the human bodies, right, will receive these visual signals and process these signals. And after the process, it will generate the output signal and pass the output signal to the neurons of the next layer. Okay, so that is this is the basic process of how human bodies or how biological network process the signals, right, in generated from the outer environments. Okay, so to mimic such kind of behavior, the researchers, the artificial intelligence researchers, developed the artificial neurons, right? So you can see that we have X0, X1, X2, right? Here X1, X0, S1, S2, and so on represent like the input signals, right? And we introduce something called the parameters, omega 0, omega 1, omega 2, to combine these kind of output signals, right? Combine output information X, and using some nonlinear mathematical activation function to transform or to process such kind of output signals, right? And then generated the output signal and pass it to the next neurons, next artificial neurons. So you can see that the design of artificial neurons is quite similar to the how biological network handle the input signal from outer environments, right? So that is the basic idea of designing artificial intelligence, artificial neurons, right? Then based on the artificial neuron, as I mentioned just now, each artificial neurons, right, is the basic components of the deep neural network, right? Then by combining many, massive artificial neurons, right? And we can build multi-layer neural networks, artificial neural networks. So each layer neural network has some number of artificial neurons, right? And artificial neurons, each layer is connected to the artificial neurons at the next layers, right? So every artificial neurons, right, in the previous layer is connected to the artificial neurons in the next layer. So we can build a multi-layer artificial neurons, right? So like this one, but this is the input signals, like the image features, right? Take these image recognition task as an example. X is take as the input features of an image, right? Then we take this input feature and feed this input feature to the multi-layer neural network, which is constitute the multi-level artificial neurons, right? So these kind of artificial neural network can process such kind of input feature or input image features, right? And it can learn multi-layer feature representation to represent this image data meaningfully, right? Like this one, in the first layer, artificial neural AI are able to represent the LD feature in the image. And the second layer, we are able to capture the contour or the corner features in the image. And the third layer, we are able to represent the object part. And the final layer, we are able to learn the whole object identity information in the images, right? So you can see that we use multi-layer neural network to learn the image features at the different layers, right? More and more complex and more meaningful image features, right? And finally, we are able to learn the whole image information, right, using these multi-layer artificial neural networks. So that is for most of the deep learning technique. The idea are based on the artificial neural networks, right? No matter what kind of deep learning model we develop, they are based on the artificial neural networks. Okay, so that is the major idea of building artificial neural networks, right? And then let me spend a few more minutes to talk about how can we apply the artificial neural network to different applications, right? So AI application or the deep learning application are everywhere in current daily life, like language domains, the driving domains, the game domains, and the vision domains, right? So like in the vision domain, we can use one kind of deep neural network architecture is called the convolutional neural network for the image classification, right? So we take the image as the input features, as the input data, then we can build a neural network, deep neural network, called convolutional neural network, to classify the image data. Like we need to determine whether this image is a bird image, cat image, dog image, frog image, and so on. Right? We can use this build convolutional neural network to identify the category of these images. Right? So that is one kind of applications, right? And the second one is, that I mentioned just now, right? We often use like Google machine translations, right? We use one kind of deep neural network called the recurrent neural network to do the machine translations, right? So this is the detailed model information, right? We first build a neural network architecture to encode the information of one sentence, or to encode the information of sentence in one language, in the original language. Then we use another recurrent neural network to decode the information and to translate it to the sentence of another language. Right? So that is the basic idea of the machine translation. Use one recurrent neural network encode the sentence of our original language, then decode it to the sentence of another language using another recurrent neural network. Okay. And if you ChatGPT is quite popular now, right? ChatGPT is actually it's also built on deep neural network. It's built on more advanced or complicated neural network architecture called the transformation network, right? Transformer networks, right? So I'm not going to present the detail of the transformation networks, right? But you should know that it's actually built on the deep neural network architecture, the ChatGPT, okay? So that's another application of the current AI techniques. And also, as I mentioned just now, right, the computer game players, right, like the Go program developed by Google DeepMind, and also other game player programs, right, they are actually built on one technique called reinforcement learning. So reinforcement learning is also use deep neural network architecture to develop policy network and the value network. Policy network is the deep neural network architecture to determine like what is the next action we should select in the Go games, right? And what is the next next action we should do in game players, right? So that is use the reinforcement learning network based on the deep neural network. Right? So that is another kind of AI applications, right? Currently very popular. Okay. And as I mentioned just now, we also use like a computer vision technique and the reinforcement learning technique for the self-driving cars, right? All of them are based on deep neural network. Like, on the road, you need to detect different objects, right? On the road, like a pedestrian, like the moving cars, right? So you need to use the computer vision technique, like a convolutional neural network, to detect the object on the road, the moving object on the road. So you can see that based on the deep neural network or based on the deep learning, right? So self-driving car is another very popular application in the current AI domains, okay? And beside that, we have applications in the healthcare, right? Like in the healthcare, like a drug discovery, we need to do like a molecular property prediction. It's like given a molecular data, we need to predict the property of these molecules, right? This is another kind of very popular technique called the graph neural network. And that means we can model these molecular graph data and use neural networks, right, to learn the representation or the feature representation of this molecular graph. Then we can use only the feature representation to predict the property labels of each molecular graph or each molecular data, right? So that is another kind of applications, right, in the healthcare domains, right? So beside these mentioned in the application, there are lots of many more applications, right? So beside the digital assistants and the self-driving car, we can have AI for fake news detection, for like others, right? Like a personalization recommended system, right? And also beside machine translation, we can also use like automatic gameplay and also automatic handwriting generation. You know, there are lots of application of AIs, right? So I want to say that AI is currently fast developing, right? It's actually uh, um, with the development of ChatGPT, right? No, everyone is use AI in current days, right? So yeah, that is my brief talk about what is AI, especially what is the deep learning and how can we use AI technique and the deep learning to build different application and different product in real lives, right? So yeah, that's about my talk. And if you have any question, feel free to send me emails. Okay, okay, that's all. Thank you.